Got myself a black Americano. Follow the channel, you know I never drink any coffee at all. But I thought, fuck it, after how I'm feeling, why not? I don't see the fascination. I just like knowing that, and I know you're very much the same. The whiteboard is going to make a massive difference. On the train, I had a fucking great spot with my laptop. I was doing my work and that, but Mabel came over to me and said, look, we booked this seat, and I was like, fuck's sake, all seats you could have picked, you've picked this one, but it is what it is. Maybe I could have stood up because I'm on a train for about 2 hours at the moment. My glutes are fucking, you know when you sit down for too long, your glutes are just, feel like your glutes tightening up and your lower back fucked, your posture's shit. If anything, it's done me a world of good. London, baby, London, fucking London. I'm looking forward to it, should be good.
Welcome on board this Avanti West Coast service to...
I shouldn't have that coffee, bruv. As soon as I have that coffee, I need a shit in it. I've got shit on the train. Fuck's sake. I swear. It's buzz, isn't it? Does anyone else hate shitting on trains?
That doesn't...
I think this is the first time in my life I've ever been on time. Fair play. Never on time. George runs on George O'Clock, which is basically always late. If I'm honest, I'm quite nervous because imagine if I've not built any muscle, that's going to be fucking shit in it. Who knows? We'll find out, we'll find out. Either way, I think I look better. I think we'd agree that I look better compared to last time. And for me, regardless of the data, what I visually look like, it's all good having this data in front of us, but if I look better, wait, that means something. I don't know, but we'll see. Nervous, excited, very welcoming, very nice here. Go above and beyond. I love all that sort of stuff. They know who you are as soon as you walk in. Me, I personally like that. I like that luxury. It makes you feel good if you go. I mean, anyway, I'm completely waffling because I'm nervous. We'll see you in there, I guess.
67.4. Okay, so it's 1.4 kilos heavier. All right, so let's keep on the table. Lift your hips up. Go away from me a couple of inches. That's perfect. Okay. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Is that fairly comfortable?
Yeah, comfortable.
All right, so let's start the table moving. Cool. Cool, great. Okay, you can get up and get changed.
So welcome back, George.
Thanks for having me back.
Yeah, not at all.
Been 3 years.
Pleasure, I know. So 3 years. So the first thing I'll say about waiting 3 years or giving 3 years between scans is we are measuring today and we are measuring and comparing to a day 3 years ago, almost exactly 3 years ago. I think it was the end of July.
Yeah.
So your reference point and your view, I'll say this up front straight away because this happens a lot. Your reference point in your head is different to our reference point.
Yeah.
So we have some bodybuilders in who come a long time ago, 2 years ago. They then go through a bulking and cutting, bulking and cutting, bulking and cutting, and then 6 weeks before they come in here, they do a rapid weight loss or weight gain. And then they say, but how can I only have lost 2 kilos of fat? I've lost 15 kilos. And you're saying only 2 of it is fat. Well, that's because in your head you're thinking of 8 weeks ago, whereas we're comparing to 3 years ago. So, but the scale doesn't lie, and Dexa is absolutely consistent for measuring body fat.
Yeah.
Okay. So you were 66 kilograms last time on the scale. Okay. We're only precise to 200 grams, but nevertheless. So 66 kilos last time. You're 67.4. All right, this time. So you've put on 1.4 kilos.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Dexa is utterly consistent. I will stand up in court to say how consistent we are with measuring body fat. And you've put on 800 grams of fat.
It's not too bad.
It's not too bad.
Not bad.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
Which means there's 600 grams of lean, of muscle. Okay. Now, we don't show all of that here, I'll be honest about it, okay, because we often get a variation between Dexa weight and scale weight, okay? Yeah. It can be movement on the table, breathing, previous exercise, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, of course.
But we are on the money when it comes to body fat. So 800 grams of fat leaves 600 grams of lean. So we spoke briefly before we sat down, saying you've definitely put on muscle. Does 600 grams of muscle feel small to you?
Yeah, it does.
Right, okay.
Yeah, it does. It don't feel like a lot.
Sure, I know, right? Which kind of makes but in between, you've obviously been through cycles.
Yeah, of course.
And we know that you're only 1.4 kilos heavier.
Yeah.
And you told me before you got on the table you were fatter.
Yeah.
So if some of that is fat, only what's left is lean, is muscle, okay? So, but that's the point. It's, you've gone through a number of cycles, and maybe there was a point when you were lower lean or you put on a lot of lean, and now some of that's come off, and then we've gone through another cycle.
Yeah,
so
of course.
that's the point to make, really. To recommend to everybody to come regularly during their program. Also to make sure that kind of when you have a pair of Dexa scans, you bookend a consistent regime. So anyway, if we look at the results, so you are now carrying 9.2 kilograms of body fat. Last time was 8.4. And I know that Kevin said that was probably the lowest he'd ever seen. That is still a very, very low amount of body fat.
Low last time.
Yeah. So I would be very pleased with that. I tell most male customers that between 10 and 15 kilos is what I call low fat. All right, so you're down at 9.2. We move on beyond body fat percentage. It's not the best measure because it's affected by muscle. So if we took out your head last time, because everyone's got about 25% body fat in their head, but for people who are low fat, we'll take the head off. So you're 11.7% body fat, okay? Now you're 12.8, all right? That's because fat has gone up a little bit and lean has gone up a little bit as well. When we plot your numbers on the tables here, in fact, so last time, I say without the head, you were, Kevin, I think, plotted you at 12.7, so kind of in the bottom 3%. You were actually, without the head, in the lowest 1 percentile. So you had lower body fat percentage than more than 99% of all the men we've ever scanned, okay? Your fat for height, which is the more meaningful measure for us, last time you were probably about the 3rd percentile, right? Lower fat for your height than 97%. Now it's still the 5th percentile, right? Still lower than 95%, right? So you're low fat, okay? Suck it up. Or enjoy it, revel it. Revel it. And your lean mass is at the 70th percentile, meaning for height. So you carry more muscle for your height than 70%. It's a little bit more than last time because you put on some lean mass. In the right leg.
Yeah.
Right, I think you said you're a left kicker.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, all right. So that's still the same. Very even in the arms. We're talking grams here.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have, great physique. We expect, even left to right. I'll just plot you for your kind of up and down muscle mass. 3.5 kilos in each arm, 26.3 in the upper body, okay, and about split the difference 9.7 in the legs. So you're very even legs to trunk.
Yep.
Your arms are probably a little bit ahead. Okay. We really only interest ourselves in trunk and legs because they're a big muscle group. It's very easy to put on a few grams here and
of course,
shooting up the table. Kind of classic bodybuilder's physique. I take good stock from that pre-competition. Bone density is the same. We don't track bone density with body composition. Your bone density is fine. I'd be happy. Well, I don't know. Are you happy with that?
I think, in 3 years' work, naturally, you always want more, I'll be honest with you. You always want, for the effort you put in and commit, you always want more. Take into consideration, I've been training 7 years naturally now. As I train longer, the less progress I'm realistically going to make, unfortunately. I'm always honest in that sense, and I don't hide away from, it's nice to see this sort of stuff on the table rather than just, like I said, there's a difference between the look and the data itself, of course, but it's kind of good to know what exactly has changed from last time and where I need to work on and stuff like that. Because like I said to you before, I love all this sort of stuff. Even though I don't know much about it, it interests me a lot.
I'd like to pick you up on that, and for all the people who are watching your video, is we tell people all the time that muscle gain is a very slow, unpredictable process. Genetically, we have a genetic capacity, so not everybody can be high muscle, but pretty much everybody can be low fat. If you stop eating, you'll lose fat.
Of course. It
just goes to show and prove, and having done this for 8 years, around the 70th, 80th percentile, I sometimes wonder, anything beyond that is not completely natural. All right. Again, we all have a natural body type. Some people only have to look at a weight and they're, putting on muscle.
Of course.
We've had another YouTuber in, young guy, who's absolutely ectomorph. You can eat and eat, and it's just skinny. They are body types. So some people naturally slim, skinny. Some people are naturally more chunky and muscular. What you're demonstrating is that you have a genetic capacity, and it becomes harder to put on more. The more muscle you have, the less you're going to put on.
I just wanted to thank you for sitting down and going through this with me, and like watching this on the YouTube, it's going to be very insightful for people to watch and for them to understand if they want to try and do this themselves and actually come down and try it for themselves. So we're in with a little plug with where you're at, where we can find you, how we can do this.
Yes, yeah. Well, I know the camera's on, but I'm up for putting a discount code on your channel if you want to offer that. So we're in London. We've got 2 clinics in London, and I really would recommend, it's a great baseline. Like when you came for your first scan, it's just great to know.
Yeah, it is,
and so only yesterday I had a guy in who had a very female fat pattern. So a lot of men carry fat on their hips and they don't know it because fat on the hips is firm, right? Unlike belly fat. And it's just a big surprise, right? Or we find out people are naturally carrying huge amounts of muscle, or much more fat than they thought. But it's a great way to get a baseline. And everybody who comes who has started a program sits there and goes, "Damn, I wish I'd done this 6 months ago when I started." Because then they could have. Let's say they've lost a load of weight. Well, how much was fat and how much was muscle? Or they've gained weight. Right? Well, how much is fat and how much is muscle? So put a line in the sand, get Dexa doesn't lie, and the biggest strength of Dexa is its consistency between scans when we come to measuring body fat. I've done this for 8 years and we're within grams, I promise you. So would love to welcome your viewers and hope to see them soon. And you again.
Appreciate it.
Okay, cheers.
And there we have it, Dexa Scan done. Honestly, how do I feel? Shit. Like 0.6 of a kilo muscle mass in 3 years, according to the data. It's fucking tiny, isn't it? It's tiny amounts. Obviously, there's a lot more that goes into it than just that, absolutely. But at the same time, it's a little bit of a punch in the stomach. And as much as I shouldn't be thinking negatively right now, because the look is drastically better than what it was in 2019, and I'm all about continuous progress, I can already see the comments on this video already. And I don't know why, but I must admit it's going to hit me. It's going to be a punch in the stomach for me, because I've had a lot of shit recently off a lot of followers for whatever reason. I don't know why, I don't know what I've done, but I know this video that I'm going to post right now, and I shouldn't be worrying about this. When I'm in this sort of mood, that's all I can think about. And they're going to be comments, you've gained 0.6 of a kilo and you've committed all your life to it, what a fuck, or this and that. I don't know why I'm thinking about this, but I just, it is what it is. I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to eat my meal. So my meal is 100 grams of rice, 150 grams of mince and some green beans, mustard ketchup, delicious, look forward to that. Just going to sit here and just basically watch the world go by for the next half an hour when I eat this meal, and think about my life. Fuck's sake. we got. I don't know where I'm going with that. We'll see in a bit. It's the next following day. Had some time to think, talk to a few people about the results, because if I'm honest with you, I was a little bit embarrassed to post this video, because it's not something that I am sort of like proud of in one sense. I think based upon talking to a few people, I think it makes sense to post it and explain situation. Do have an influential platform. I do sometimes influence what people do with their lives and stuff like that, and I want to be in a way accountable for what I'm doing and why I am who I am. So take into consideration I competed in 2019. It was a 37-week prep. I did lose a lot of muscle in that. I think based upon the photos that I've probably never shown anyone on this channel, look at the difference between when I was 6 weeks out from my first show to the last show that I did. I look like a completely different person. So realistically, I spent about 6 to 8 months regaining the muscle that I lost from that Dexa scan. We then obviously went into the lockdowns as well, so take that into consideration. I must admit my training wasn't great. It wasn't the most optimal training ever, and there were weeks where I didn't train at all. Even in 2021, I was in a bit of a toxic relationship, especially towards the sort of early to mid 2021, where I was a little bit on and off. I wasn't consistent. So I think one thing to highlight upon here is that in natural bodybuilding, if you really want to build muscle, you have to tick these sort of boxes on a day-to-day sort of basis. And I think over the past 8 months where I've been doing that, I think I've made probably a lot of progress that I could have made maybe earlier in 2020, 2021, for example. So it's something to take into consideration there. I'm not saying that's all the excuses. I'm just saying those are factors that can contribute to why I've maybe only gained 0.6 of a kilo. Like I said, a kick in the stomach earlier, but it also has given me a kick up the arse to work harder. I still absolutely love what I do. I still love this journey, this lifestyle. I won't ever change what I do, and the fact that I can influence people to follow this lifestyle that I lead, motivate them towards their own goals, is a lot more than just this, so it's never going to stop me from doing what I do. It's just going to make me work harder, if anything, and it's given me more of a kick up the arse to do well this year with prep, and for the next steps afterwards as well. So I just wanted to highlight upon that before I end this video and just say, look, you know, there are contributing factors as to why I maybe gained what I have. Yeah, it is what it is. We're just going to crack on. We're 3 days out as of this video you're watching, so I've recorded some few other days that you'll see in the next coming days, and you'll probably see a full day of eating as well. So I hope you follow the channel, hope you enjoyed that video. There is a discount code below if you want to try it yourself, 15% off. Give it a try, see what your results look like. It's quite interesting if you're into that sort of stuff. We shall see you guys in the next one. Bye.